faith, family, and the future of our community. Welcome to Ashonda at Large. Candace Owens, unfortunately, is a white supremacist and black skin. And this is what happens to a lot of our black leaders when they get on a prominent level. In order to be able to speak to a certain audience or a wide range of people, that you have to co-sign on their agenda. You have to speak their narrative. And their narrative is that of innocence, that it's all in the minds of black people. We're just kind of crazy to think that there's systemic issues that are underlying a lot of the degradation within our community, be it abortion, be it HIV/AIDS, STDs, be it cancer, be it poverty. All of these underlying things that have happened within our community are systemic in nature, historical, and lead back and point at the face of white supremacy. But they don't want to deal with that. So you have to speak their talking points, as does Candace Owens recently when she stood before CPAC and said that racism does not exist in this country. Take a listen.
Truth number one, America is not a racist country. The people that continue to tell us that have a vested interest in racism. In fact, they're actively now importing Nigerians to come do racist acts in this country, a la Jesse Smollett, right? This is MAGA country. No, this is your prison cell, and I hope you rot in it, Jesse. A hard-hitting truth is that the most unsafe place for a black child is not on the streets, it's not when they see a police officer, it's in their mother's womb. More than half of the black population would be double today if it wasn't for abortion. We've lost 18 million black babies since 1973. How's that for a progressive policy? Is that what they're celebrating?
As I stated previously, she is a pro-lifer, and her next truth, as she said, that was truth number one, but the next truth is that abortion is murder, and I'm in agreement with that. However, did y'all hear the first thing about America not being a racist nation? It's interesting that she thinks that because she didn't, nor her family didn't believe that in the past. Here's an article from Essence magazine that says Candace Owens insists that America is not a racist country, points out that she has never been a slave. And I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of the article to y'all. It says, Candace Owens is back at it again with the fake news, claiming on Friday during the annual Conservative Political Action Conference that America is not a racist country. America is not a racist country, the prominent black conservative commentator and a regular on Fox News insisted. Stop selling us our own oppression. Stop taking away our self-confidence by telling us that we can't because of racism, because of slavery. Owens continued to pour fuel on the fire, adding, I've never been a slave in this country. Well, that's the first foolish thing right there, because you're a slave right now and you just don't even know it. So I guess that just cancels everything out, because black people are no longer enslaved in this country. All the issues that follow slavery, including systemic oppression through Jim Crow laws, have no impact on the present. Of course, Owens' comments lit up a Twitter firestorm, considering in 2007, now here's the part y'all want you to hear, her family received a $3,700 settlement from the Stamford, Connecticut Board of Education after she accused a group of teens of leaving her threatening and racist messages while she was a high school student, as the Stamford Advocate noted. But I guess that wasn't racism. Or maybe racism ended when she received the settlement, something that sports journalist Jamil Hill pointed out in a scathing tweet. Jamil Hill says, so I guess when she sued and won a lawsuit after receiving racist threats, then she must have been in some other country. Now, the reason why I brought that up, because you see, this type of rhetoric furthers the divide within the black community to really focus on the issue that we have to deal with at hand, which is black genocide. You start off by saying, truth number one, America is not a racist country, and then you go on to truth number two, that abortion is murder. Well, the first thing that you said already inflames the black community, because they're saying, well, wait a second. So you're saying that racism doesn't exist in America? Well, I can't listen to anything else that you have to say past that, because you already showed me your true colors. You showed me that you're white supremacist and blackface. But that is to our own fault. And that was designed that way. It was designed to make us perpetually against ourselves. You see, this is one of the things that we really address on this channel, is a disunity within our community, because how the devil works is that he puts out a lot of truth and mixes in a little bit of lies. That's how a lot of times people end up taking a bite of strychnine or rat poisoning inside of their cake. The cake looks good, but the rat poisoning in it is what kills you. So when she set up those comments in the way that she did, it was very strategic. Oh, black people, you're the one with the issue. You're the one who's delusional. You're the one who doesn't realize that America has moved past racism. Oh, and by the way, abortion is murder. Come on now. Y'all have to understand how these politicians or these pundits or these conservative speakers, these real slaves, how they use their words to manipulate us so that we work against ourselves. So what happens is that instead of us realizing that abortion is black genocide, abortion is murder, we don't even listen to that speaking point and that talking point, because she's X'd out everything else and all of our other concerns on the side whim. But on another note, I'm going to speak about this whole issue that she talks about racism not existing in America. Funny, beyond her own personal experience with racism where she sued. Funny that she says that, because these college students think something a little bit different. Listen to this.
Without the Holocaust, what would the world be like?
We would have white people still. All of the niggers would not be here.
Jews would run the world without the Holocaust.
Fuck niggers, fuck Jews.
Jews are fine
If the
because they're
Holocaust
white.
never happened, Jews would be running the world right
It's
now.
fine. We just need niggers gone. So half
Think about
mix
that.
Oreos.
Think about that.
What are you gonna do with them?
You stick them in concentration
No,
camps
you
and
have
fucking
to. No, you have to
barb 'em.
wait till they die off.
It's charging.
No, we run niggers because they do football for us and rap music, and we pay them for that.
No, they do nothing. Do you want to know what the fucking Democrat and like whole Republican?
How about we just kick out all the
Republicans
Democrats
are
and we go on
niggers
strike?
that want to
still
take white
videoing it?
people's money who don't want to.
Hey, this is Ashonda coming to you for a brief minute to invite you to subscribe to my channel, as well as hit that notification bell so that you can get the latest content as soon as it comes out. Well, I hope you're enjoying today's discussion. Back to the podcast. I don't like to put my people down, no matter what they say, because I understand that that's also a form of disunity. But this is one of the reasons why I get frustrated with us as a people, because you have so many Sambos within our community that they get to a certain elevation, a certain place, and they forget who they are. Like right now, Jussie Smollett is potentially facing 45 years in prison because of what he put out as a blatant lie to stir up white supremacy, to probably, in my opinion, to pass more laws in the favor of the LGBT community. And it backfired on him. But now he's getting ready to face, or what they say, 45 years in prison is what they're pushing for. But you have all kinds of Anglo-Saxon or white people who have made false claims on black people, whether it be claims of violence, rape, babysitting while black, cooking out while black, false claims, calling the police continuously on black people, and nothing ever happens to them. They don't even get so much as a slap on the wrist. So it's kind of, on the one sense, it's like I don't want to go even against Candace Owens, because even though she's a Sambo and she's very ignorant to the issues within her own community, I know that that's what they love to do, pit us one against another. So, in the one sense, I don't like to do that. But on the other sense, I want to call her out, because this is the kind of stuff that continues to keep us in our community, in the nation, inside of the nation, at war with one another. Because you haven't experienced racism, or so you think, haven't experienced racism up front. Then you think that that negates the experiences of 30 other million black Americans that have bones buried in this country, that have experienced racism through the generations. You think that you can negate the experiences of our people? That is wrong. That's wrong. But you know, this is what happens when you get up on a national platform. The thing is with Candace Owens, what she doesn't even realize is that she is experiencing racism that's in the most subtle form possible. And she's so ignorant to the racism because the money and the fame has gotten to her that she doesn't realize that she's being used in much the same way that Jesse Lee Peterson is being used.
In my book, The Antidote, I prove that racism doesn't exist, that it has never existed, and that word was just made up by the children of the lie in order to manipulate the mind of the people, to keep white Americans feeling guilty and afraid, and to keep blacks angry so that you can control them, because you cannot control a moral people. You have to demoralize them in order to control them.
Black people have the right to speak. You're not asking about questions. You're racist.
I just said
you are a
racist.
You're a racist.
I am not a
You
racist.
hate black people.
I'm not a racist.
You hate black people.
You hate black people. I've been living in my house my entire life.
No.
So don't you dare
You
insult
hate
me.
black people.
It's not
Yes,
about
you do.
race. I do not.
Yes, you do.
I do not.
But why are you insulting me?
I do not. Because you're insulting
No.
young children.
No.
You
hate
are
black
in the
people.
face of young children.
This lady
I
hate
love
black people.
and you're lying.
This woman hate black people.
No.
This woman hate black people.
I do not hate black people.
This lady hate black people. Racist.
Now, y'all, this is the kind of stuff that we're dealing with all the time. And this is why Tariq Nasheed called him out on his own show and said, hey, them butter biscuits are real good, huh? Because the thing is that they know that racism exists in this country, but they also know that it will hurt their bottom line. It'll hurt their personal wealth if they speak about the racism in this country. She speaks to none of the issues that are dealing specifically with black people in this country, but at the same time wants to be in a leadership role for black people to Blexit the Democratic Party. Now, I say, why leave the Democratic plantation to go into the Republican plantation? Left wing, right wing, two wings of the same bird. And we have to recognize that even those of us who are standing in support of the ADOS movement, this is actually a very biblical thing. Check out Genesis chapter 15, verse 13 and 14. Our people are the true children of Israel. That's who we are. And the Most High Yah has known this. He's known who we were, even when we forgot who we were. That's according to Psalm 83. But the Most High Yah has set up in His Word a long time ago that we would be enslaved, that we would be captured for 400 years, and afterward that we would come out with great substance. So when I say I'm in support of ADOS and even a worldwide DOS, as far as reparations, that has to do with the fact that it's the time, it's the season for us to reap what we have sown, what our ancestors have sown through their backs, through their hard work, their labor, through being kidnapped and being worked in the fields. They've received nothing. Their descendants have received nothing. And when we have advocates like Antonio Moore and like Yvette Carnell, people who have studied the market, they've studied the data and seen that from the time of slavery till now, that we don't control any wealth and have no transferable wealth. They, in my opinion, are very much being used by the Most High Yah to be able to wake us up to see that we're not dealing with single issues, individualistic issues as a community. We're dealing with collective issues that have been hidden from us. So this is why we can't afford to allow these people to continue to paint our narrative for us. We can't even allow the black white supremacists like Candace Owens or Jesse Lee Peterson to paint the picture for us, because the Most High Yah is going to wake them up to it as well. And they're going to understand themselves. Like Jussie Smollett, he may not have realized he was black until he did what he did, and now he realizes he's black. So we have to understand that this is very spiritual that we're going through, and the enemy is always going to try to oppose us and make us feel like somehow that because we're speaking out against our struggle, whether our struggle is through economic struggle or relational struggle, sociological struggle, spiritual struggle, our struggles that we're facing, they're a collective, and the Most High is going to bring us into a wholeness. So I wanted to deal with this issue of Candace Owens because this young woman is in need of a revelation. She's in need of an absolute revelation when she speaks like this, because I don't know of any black person who has love for themselves I don't know of any of them that will follow after a woman who denies their reality, denies their suffering, and tells them to do the same. Tells them that it's all in their mind, that there is no racism. When I just showed y'all that in 2019, that these white college students, that they very much believe wholeheartedly in racism, and they endorse it. They want it. They want racism just the way it is. They want to pay black people for sports and entertainment so that they can laugh and that they can enjoy the fruit of our labor. So when people say, oh, there isn't any racism, understand that those people are psychological liars. And Candace Owens has put herself in the seat of a psychological liar to deny all of the atrocities that are committed against us as a people. From then till now, it is not being an honest person. Those of us who are standing for our community, whether we are ADOS or black immigrant, throughout the diaspora, we need to stand together, and we need to realize when we are all being manipulated by black actors who are really white supremacists and blackface. Well, I wanted to bring this to y'all today. This is my position on Candace Owens and the things that she had to say. I hope that her eyes will be opened up to the truth. I hope that Candace Owens will realize that she's being used as a tool and a puppet to divide the black community, and that her temporal financial gain is not worth selling her soul. And that's my opinion about it. But let me know yours. I know some people listening to this channel, they have left the Democratic Party and they're Republicans now. What do you think is the difference between being a Democrat or Republican for the black community? What are your opinions about Candace Owens? Do you think that she's speaking forth for our future while denying our past? Or do you think that she is being used as a puppet and she's being used to divide the black community? Definitely like and share this video, and I want to thank you for tuning in once again to Ashonda at Large, where we do discuss faith, family, and the future of our community. And until next time, as always, love yourself without hating your enemies. Until next time, Yah bless and shalom.